McArthur from A C McArthur Services. Welcome to the Raw Success Podcast.
Hello, how are you going?
So well, it's so lovely to have you here. Thank you so much for taking the time. Tell us,
No.
the entrepreneurship journey is really different for everybody. And some days are really great, and some days you go, why am I doing all of this? Can you tell us why you launched into this entrepreneurial journey and whereabouts on the roller coaster you're at?
This is my second business actually, and I've been like my first, I owned a cookie company and I made chunky cookies. Completely random, I'm a terrible cook, I'm a terrible baker, but apparently I could make cookies. So I did that between 2022, COVID. I did it through COVID. And I was like, yeah, this is awesome. I never want to work for anyone ever again. And then the outgoing funding was more than what I was receiving. I was like, man, someone's got to pay my tax and super. This sucks. So I kind of tapped out. I had my second son as well. I was so sick. And he was like, this child was set to really test me. But I left that behind. He's also fine. He's thriving now. He's lovely. He's on another planet, but he's great. And so I then took a complete pivot and dove into support work. And I was a support worker for a few companies for a little while, and started to discover myself, realized now diagnosed neurodivergent, and I was burnt out. And I was like, I need to do this from behind a computer. So I was like, how do I become a coordinator?
Mm-hmm.
And I've actually been really lucky. People ask me all the time, but I really feel like, I don't know, it just kind of happened. And I was able to connect with another company who contracted me for 3 or 4 months. And while I was there as a junior, I got thrown in the deep end, lumped with about 60 people, had to really just figure it out. And lucky, my special interest area is this, because I signed up to whatever I could to learn and expand my knowledge, and I'm doing a Cert 4 and a diploma, and I was like, I need to know how to do this. And then in November last year, I went to a conference about building your visibility, and I was like, oh, I'm not going to get anything from this. I'll just go network, and it's my first time away from the fam, so whatever. And while I was there, I connected with someone who has been in the NDIS game for since it began. And they took me aside. They're like, you could be doing this on your own. You're doing amazing. Why don't you do it for yourself? And I'm like, oh, that's so scary. But now she's my mentor. So that's amazing. My supervisor mentor. Yeah. So without her, I don't think it would have happened this soon. But yeah, so when I got home, I kind of put the things in place that I needed to make sure I could transition and try to reduce the amount of time without income as much as possible. I was scared. I was terrified. But fortunately, I had about 80% of those people find me after I left and said, hey, could you continue working with me because we were doing so well, la, la, la. So yeah, and it's kind of just built. And I mean, the NDIS at the moment is kind of forcing everyone to be an advocate because it's too hard for whatever reasons. So yeah, I've got a massive caseload at the moment, but I'm working out how to balance mum life, work life, and still kind of fit some time in, to shower sometimes. We're getting there. But yeah, I'll always say I've been really, really lucky. And opportunities don't come up like that often. So I'm really blessed in what I have now and the road I'm hoping to take as well. So yeah.
What an incredible journey. I had no idea about the cookie background when it comes to your entrepreneurial journey. I love that you just had the guts to be like, I'm not a baker. I didn't go to university for cookie making, if that's even a thing, but here I am just jumping in the deep end. What are the lessons that you learned from that first experience with the cookie company? Of course, the pay and the super and the tax and all those things that come along with it, I'm sure, are part of it. But what are those lessons that you feel like you really had to learn in order to do what you're doing right now more successfully?
I think the biggest thing was the financial side of it. So just like leaping into my own business. I was working admin a couple of days a week and doing cookies on the side. But then the cookies grew and I got fired. And so I was like, well, I'll do cookies. But I didn't have that little bucket of funding to kind of get me started. So I drew from our mutual account, kind of became a bit of a financial burden for a little bit. But then things took off. I was making really good turnover, but because of that, in COVID, it kind of went back down again. So I still didn't have that little kitty to rely on.
Yeah.
So that's the thing. Definitely make sure you've got some sort of financial safety net. What else? Work-life balance is also massive. I threw myself into work. I was also pregnant, and I mean, no one else was doing it. I had no choice. But setting up a good routine, a good schedule where you still have time for family and for yourself is so important. Because if you just dedicate all the time to work, you burn out and you disintegrate, basically. Yeah, I think also accept the help. If somebody is offering to help you, even if it's like just from the kindness of their own heart, accept the help, whether that be within the business or at home, like somebody coming and folding, washing, whatever, accept the help. Don't ever be too proud, because that also ties into the burning out and checking in on yourself, making sure that doesn't happen.
Yeah. I mean, they talk a lot about the put on your own mask before you help others. But as an entrepreneur, it's so vital, because you're exactly right. It was only you making the cookies. So it had to happen somehow. And if you're not looking after yourself, that burnout is a really slippery slope and really quickly kind of takes the wind out of your sails. You're a finalist for the 2024 Raw Awards in Hustle and Heart. Talk to us about the reason you entered the awards, why the awards process has been great for your business, and what that Hustle and Heart category means to you.
I think I picked that one because as a support coordinator, I mainly focus on late diagnosed neurodivergent adults, a lot of whom are assigned female at birth or mums. So the mothers that come to me are burnt out, they're crispy, like they're like, I need help. I don't, and I'm like, same, but I can help you. Can't help myself, I can help you. But my background as well, I recently spoke at the national rallies for gender-based violence. I spoke in the Newcastle rally, and that kind of opened a door, because I have a history of trauma and being a female myself, that medical gaslighting and all of it. I know what it feels like not to be heard, and not to have anyone in your corner that actually believes you and can validate what you've experienced without having to know all the finer details. And it's a very niche space, and I'm seeing it grow, and that's amazing. But that's been my drive, because my own sexual violence trauma, I want to be in that space to help people through that, whether it's historical or recent, and use my voice to empower others to know it's going to be okay and seek the help, but also be that help. And also from a disability perspective, be that voice as well, because the systems aren't designed for the people that they're supposed to be designed for. It shouldn't be this hard. So yeah, there's the world as it is set up for people living with disability, and for assigned female at birth humans and women in this world, like the odds are against us. And I'm like, well, that's too bad, because I'm going to push back. Like, I'm going to use my voice, and yeah, some people aren't going to like it, but that drives me more. So
I love that hustle. I can see as part of that journey, making cookies all the way through to helping people now and serving people in the way that you do. I love this category, because it does really invite not only entrepreneurs who are doing great work in the business space, but also who have a passion outside of that space to make a difference in the world. And so many of us get into small business because we want to make a difference. We want to have an impact on the people around us, our community. We want to build a community of people. And I so relate to that. So thank you for sharing that. Thank you for your vulnerability, and for making us all feel like we're in it together. And there are those times where it's rough and tough, and you're not okay. And then there are other times where you can lean on the help of others, and you can keep moving forward and keep that hustle going and get it done. And you clearly have so much heart in what you do as well. So that's beautiful. Thank you for sharing. Talk to us about like what is next. What are you excited about? What's around the corner? What's coming up? And yeah, what are you excited about?
Well, I mean, it's hard to, like, I had a journey planned in my brain, but then NDIS is NDISing. So it's all kind of up in the air, but I think it'll be okay. But my long-term goal is to become an advocate in whatever space, disability or in the survivor space. But midterm, I'd love to offer that as a service still while being a coordinator and advocating as well. That's pretty much my plan. I have a few events coming up. I'm going to Melbourne next week for the Yellow Ladybugs Autism Conference.
So I love that conference.
I've never been.
I was there last year. It's so
cool.
It's so great.
I'm looking forward to it.
My daughter is autistic, and it's such a beautiful way to get education, but also to get inspiration. And the coming together of like-minded people, it's pretty magic. So you're going to love that.
Yes, I'm super keen. I've got 2 boys, and my eldest is diagnosed autistic recently. Even though I was looking at him and looking at me, and I was like, it's there. I can see it. I just need the piece of paper. But for young girls and women with autism, the main cohort of people that I work with are in that category, but they also have a lot of coexisting conditions like endo, adeno, PCOS, fibro, Ehlers-Danlos, different genetic things. And I'm sitting here like, is somebody researching this? Because this is fascinating.
Yeah.
So the more I learn about it, and how, like, even young girls, like I've got clients with younger girls around 8 or so, they're like, oh, you know, their meltdowns are being more frequent. I don't know how to help. I don't know what's going on and what I'm doing. I'm like, whoa, like, let's talk about our friend estrogen and how that affects all of the things. But yeah, just being a part of, like, speaking up and talking about it, because I know we didn't talk about it for a very long time, but it is so real. And without the support, I am seeing older women burnt out, inpatient stays. Like, we're not okay. And the NDIS is like, why are there so many adults with autism on the scheme now? It's like, because we didn't get the support. We're not okay. Help us.
We're always there.
Yeah, we're here. Like, I didn't just get diagnosed for funsies. Like, that was expensive, man.
Yeah.
Like, it's the rationality behind it is just ridiculous. There is none. But yeah, trying to grow in that space as well, for kiddos, but also, yeah, with that in mind, like, I don't want, if I can do anything to support young girls and gender diverse people who are neurodivergent enter this world and grow in this world and feel supported and held, then yeah, that's another goal. So it's a bit everywhere.
Oh, I love it.
ADHD fashion.
I love it so much. And I can't wait to see where you take it, and I can't wait to see what's next. I'm looking forward to celebrating with you at the 2024 Raw Awards. By the time this airs, that will be all done and dusted. But are you ready for some rapid fire questions?
Yes.
Beautiful. So tell me, to start with, what advice would you give yourself if you were just starting out in business? Take yourself back to pre-COVID and you've got all of that entrepreneurial spirit and excitement. What advice would you give your younger self in that moment?
You get all the resources, and they're out there, and they don't cost a lot. A lot of them do, but some don't. Use them, read them, talk to people, join the networks, especially not, for me, I would say not in a broad sense. Like, you can join a network of entrepreneurs and that sort of thing. But if you have a niche space, find those people, because they've done it. They have the advice. They know what works, what doesn't work. But also, like, I hate it, trust the process. If it's meant to work out, it will. It might be yucky, but if it's not and it doesn't work out, you will look back and go, well, that makes sense now. Like, I'm not big on, like, I trust in the universe, that that's about as much as it gets. But yeah, there's a plan, it will play out. So just go with the flow.
Beautiful.
Which
What's your
terrible
favorite
advice?
No, it's not. It's really not. Because sometimes we get so stuck on a plan, right? I'm going to do this in the 5 years. I'm going to do this in 10 years. I'm going in this direction. And it's only this.
Yep.
And then we beat ourselves up when it doesn't happen like that. When actually often we get moved into a different direction that ends up being more rewarding or having more impact or more income and we're stuck in this time of going, oh, I feel like I should be celebrating, but it wasn't what I thought it was going to be. And
it'll make sense eventually.
I think
don't
it's
have
beautiful
a
advice.
plan. I just go with the flow. Like, things just happen. Yeah, be open-minded. Don't regiment yourself.
What's your favorite app on your phone?
Oh, I usually TikTok. Because that just, it's doom scrolling and I don't have to think about it. And I like to have a rant sometimes on there. Otherwise, at the moment, I am down the Facebook marketplace rabbit hole. I don't need these things, but I just want to see what's out there. I'm like, would that look good in my office? We just bought one, actually. But I'm like, do I need a new desk? Like, it's not going to fit in here, but yes, I do. No, but I'm like, I don't know what it is. I'm like, wow, the kids need a gymnastics beam. Let's get it. Like, that's what I do in my spare time now.
I love it. What's the last TV show you binged and loved?
Is it Fisk? It has Kitty Flanagan in it, and I was so sad when it finished. I could watch that forever. I watched it start to finish over a few days, and I was like, she's autistic. I'm vibing with this. I love this so much. I hope they do another season, because that was just awesome. Before that, it was probably Scrubs. That's my safe show. I've watched it from start to finish probably 10 times.
Yeah. You picked a good one.
Yeah, it is a good one. The new season's a bit, but yeah, the original was good.
Have you watched Ted Lasso?
No, I've heard. I'll add it to the list. If it's a slow burn, I lose interest. I'm like, I don't want to do this. But that happens.
I don't know if it is. I
I'll write it down. All right.
Well, it's the same creators of Scrubs, right? So it's that same vibe. It's I think it would
meant to be.
Yeah.
I'll look at that. Perfect. Because we kind of just sit in front of the telly now. We're like, do we talk to each other? Do we watch YouTube? Watch Baby Shark?
There's too many choices.
There is, and I think it's overwhelming.
Yeah. It used to be, at 8:30 on a Monday night, the show that everyone was watching was on, and that's what you could talk about. But now it's
too much. Like, let's just watch Dash Cams Australia. That's it. That's what we're doing. Get triggered by people. Like, this is good for the endorphins and energy release. Love that for us. Go to bed completely hypervigilant. It's all good.
Beautiful. Now you get the opportunity to tell us where we can find you, where we can learn more about you, about any appearances that you have. Go ahead and tell us everything we need to know about how we can stay in touch with you.
Currently my books are closed, but my inbox is open for anyone who is struggling, like, my support coordinator is doing this, I'm not sure if it's right, this provider's doing this. So my socials, Instagram, A C McArthur _services. But also my website can direct you everywhere else. So www.acmcarthurservices.com.au. And that kind of takes you on a journey wherever you land. But yeah, I'm always open to helping if need be. So
beautiful. Yeah. And thank you so much for joining us on the Raw Success Podcast.
Thanks for having me. Thank you.